Kumaramangalam and tell me where you stand. You're a women's rights activist, I understand that. But someone has to stand up for the rights of men also and boys also, na? Is it fair that I am the single daughter of a billionaire father and I am getting special treatment in Delhi University? I am the daughter of a sitting neta. My father is a minister in the government of India and I am getting special treatment in Delhi University and not the others. How is this fair? I mean, there are other quotas that have been just, by the way, introduced by Delhi University. For a boy, if he's an orphan, for a girl, if she's an orphan. So these are quotas that were introduced along with this quota. I understand the social context there. I don't understand the social context as far as this single girl syndrome is concerned.
Okay, first of all, thank you for calling me in the show. And by the way, I'm a alumni of Stephens. I was the first batch of girls, Eco Honors, 75 to 78. Stephens is a male bastion, at least it was. Today, when I go back to my old college, I see more young girls than boys. But that is the argument I am about to make is notwithstanding that. Yes, in Delhi University, there are more girls than boys who study at the university level today. But Delhi is not normal India. In fact, none of our metros are. So when what you're calling a quota, which is not, I'm told that it's over and above the normal total seats that are there in a particular department, which they have said one seat should be there for a woman.
Correct.
Now, whether the university decides who that student should be or not is a different question. But the fact that you say that if it is a single girl child, and the gentleman before me, he made the absolutely right point, Professor Pandey, I think. He said the right thing, that this is probably to try to encourage people to have one, when we say have one child population explosion, etc., that we do not abort our girl fetuses. Even today it is happening, despite all the laws that are there in the land. And Stephens is right, it does have a problem with the Delhi University. It has had for decades. Even when I was there 40 years ago, I was there at the end of the 70s, so almost 50 years ago. The college always was at loggerheads with the... But to say that it is constitutionally unfair and it is unfair to men is very wrong. Let me put it a little more context. When you go to a big school or a big college, it's not just the education that you get there. It's the confidence, it's the training, it's the enormous amount of goodwill that you get after you pass out of those colleges. And the most invaluable thing is the network. This I have learned because I have studied in extraordinarily good schools and colleges. I got in on my own. I was a brilliant student. That's a different question. But women lack that network. So when you give a girl a chance to get into a university like Delhi, first of all, university, I'm not talking about a particular college. And then a college like, say, Miranda House or Stephens or Hindu or LSR or CJM, etc. That network that we are able to access once we pass out, we get a job, all of that, it takes years, centuries to build that almost. Even today,
Lalita
I'm 65 plus, but if I say I'm
Lalita ji, you are right when you say Delhi is not every other city in this country. And so Delhi doesn't have a problem where girls get discriminated. We are talking about Delhi University only, na, Abhi?
Yes.
So what is the point comparing this and putting the social context to say a Balia in Delhi? Fact is Delhi University ke statistics are very clear.
Let's also remember that DU is not just the big colleges whose names I gave. DU has hundreds of colleges now. And people who come to study in Delhi don't come just from Delhi or from big families, millionaires or billionaires or politicians, bureaucrats, etc. Many of them come from what we may call ordinary, perhaps not low income, but maybe that too. For example, my batch and we just put a girl who was in physics on also couldn't pay her fees.
But this quota is not talking about creamy layer and non-creamy layer, na? Lalita ji, but this quota is not talking about creamy layer. This quota is not talking about creamy layer and non-creamy layer.
No, it's not.
So आप क्यों बोल रही हैं that these girls come from disadvantaged families as well? This is not a seat for disadvantaged children.
No, 1 minute. So then if you say that, let us bring it down to single girls from disadvantaged or lower income or less privileged backgrounds. Yes, that is a point. But to just say that a single girl, this thing is wrong, I don't think fair to the girls. This has nothing to do with the boys. I think this is to encourage parents to have
Professor Tiwari,
only one child, a girl child, and make sure that she gets the best education.
Okay. Okay.
I don't think all the girls being, this thing
Okay.
are from not creamy layer or from creamy layer.
Professor Tiwari,
That
just come in here.
needs to be sorted out.
ठीक है, Professor. Yeah, so essentially there's a problem. That's exactly the point I'm trying to make. There is a problem with the quota. But Professor Tiwari, just come in here and tell us where you stand. Because one of the contentions of St. Stephen's in court has been, if we give a seat to every student that Delhi University wants us to give a seat to, then in a department where the sanctioned strength of students is 50, we'll have to take 150 students. We will do that. But Delhi University is pushing more students on us and not even giving us the teachers that are required to teach them. I want to ask you where you stand on this and the rather controversial statement that St. Stephen's has made in the Delhi High Court to say that this single girl child quota is essentially unconstitutional.
Yeah, before saying where I stand, actually I stand on looking at it where the court will go towards it, because this is getting to very interesting issues from a constitutional lens, and that is equality, and the next is the minority institutions' rights. So that's one. Now, on the first one, I would just like to say this is nothing new. The state has been making special provisions for single girl childs. Maybe not in a quota way, like in where I am in Maharashtra, they have the Manji Kanya Bhagyashri scheme where they have cash benefits. But yes, there is a rider that you have to provide sterilization certificate, right? So this is firstly not something new in the sense of giving benefits to single girl child in some way or the other. Now, from a constitutional lens, from an equality lens, it has to pass the reasonable classification test. So we have to be very clear on that's the constitutional test, and that is the gray area. And I agree with Professor Tanveer that that's the gray area where I'm also interested, where the court will move in this direction. Now, we are talking about the classification that the Delhi University has done, and that is families, a benefit to families with single girl child. Now, let's see who that clashes with, right? That clashes with families who have more than one child, firstly, right? So that's the clash we are going to first, whether the classification is reasonable or not, whether it is fair or not on them. Second, another interesting point will be, what about girl child who also have other sisters or brothers, for example, right? They are not going to get the benefit of this seat. So whether this is fair, this is reasonable. Okay. Now, in terms
these are questions that are being asked in court. I'm afraid your signal is not very clear, but these are questions that are being asked in court. Though this is not the fulcrum of the case, as Advocate Rupal will tell us, is something that has come about because 12 girls were denied admission by St. Stephen's under this quota, which is why they went to court. 6 of them went to court, and that is what the St. Stephen's has said.